Welcome back to NFA Review Channel, everyone. I hope this video finds you and your families well and in good health. I think we're in the long stretch here. We're in the end stretch. The virus is almost over. I know production here on the channel has been slow, and that's due to shipping constraints, and all the companies that I work with, they're working from home during all this to keep their employees safe. So thank you for your patience. And my patrons out there, thank you for everything. Let's get this party started with the new Enfield Rifle Company NOVUS. Novus, meaning new in Latin, is definitely what the suppressor is. Guys, it's been a long time since I've been this excited about a suppressor. I mean, I was geeking out over this the other day when I was tinkering with it prior to filming here in the studio. This reminded me of a photo that I saw back in 2007 when I first started my journey of buying suppressors and nerding out over them. Back then, we didn't have YouTube, or we didn't have Facebook. We had MySpace. We didn't have any way to research these things. So we would resort to archives and forums. Well, one of the forums was Silencer Talk. It's actually where I met Josh Parker. He develops all the cans for CGS Group now. Me and him used to nerd out over cans a long time ago. He still very much does, even more so than I. I specifically remember a post back then. I couldn't find it. I tried to find it. I couldn't locate it, but it was a European suppressor that came in a case, and it had every tube and baffle and end cap and adapter that you needed to adapt it from rimfire to centerfire pistol to centerfire rifle. It was a one and done system, and I remember I was like, wow, that's perfect. Nonetheless, we can't get that here in the US, and it really pissed me off at the time. Well, Enfield Rifle Company found a way around that, and it's pretty genius. I'm really excited to get out and shoot it. I haven't heard it yet, but when we start getting into detail here in the studio, you guys are really gonna like what they did and how they were able to bring to market basically the most versatile suppressor available. So without further ado, let's go ahead and open the case, cover it in detail, and then of course we'll hit the range and see what it sounds like. Okay, the Novus ships in a nice case here. It looks like it's O-ring sealed, and it does have a valve on it, so that's good. You can actually fly with this as well. It has locking rings here. When you first pull it out, you have the Novus unit, and you would have your 1/2x28 fixed adapter here in the other foam piece, but it's already installed on there, and two 3D printed tools. More on that in a second. Let's go ahead and set the case aside. Let's go ahead and cover the specs as usual, and then we're gonna really dig into this thing. All right, it comes in a overall length of 6.5 inches with a diameter of 1.5 inches. Now, as far as the weights, multiple things going on here, guys. We're gonna cover the weights. I'm actually gonna go grab the wife's food scale here off camera, and I'm gonna record all the weights for all the applicable caliber setups that this suppressor has. So I will throw that on the title work below when we get to that point in the video. As far as pulling it out of the case, quite substantial. You would never really shoot it in this configuration. This is more of a packaging and ATF requirement. So you would never really shoot it like this. As far as a finish, this is a black nitride finish on top of a gray 2 titanium tube, and then the mounts and the end cap and all the baffles and the core inside are 17.4 heat-treated stainless steel. Now again, we're going to get to in detail in a second on the baffles, but real quick, what they did here to color code each caliber so you don't get it wrong, and to apply the applicable finish to each baffle, was use different coatings. So they used certain heat treats and certain coatings on top of the heat treat to distinguish each bore size aperture applicable to the rounds you're going to use. So basically, the 5.56 baffles are going to be harder and more durable than what's needed for the 9mm size. Does that make any sense? So pretty cool that they were able to engineer the color coding system and the strength requirements into the baffle stack. I thought that was pretty neat. And as far as the calibers go, we're talking 17 HMR all the way up to 4.58 SOCOM and everything in between. As far as the firing schedule, barrel length requirements, and warranty, The barrel length requirements off the top of my head, I believe the 5.56 was 10.5. There's a longer list. They're gonna have it printed in the manual that these are gonna ship with. Mine was not pre-production, but mine shipped a week before the manuals came back from the printers. So as far as the firing schedule, full auto rated within reason, and that's kind of where I'm gonna land on my next topic, the warranty. They told me the warranty is a lifetime. They will have your back, but they're not going to cover, gross negligence as far as purposely beating up your cans. So, you can run it full auto, 10.5 inch, run a mag, let it cool a little bit, run a mag, let it cool. Don't just try to heat cycle the can to death. We're talking 17.4 stainless steel here, not Inconel. So just take care of the can and it'll take care of you. And if something happens, they'll have your back. As far as decibel reductions, they gave me a quick list of what they had in testing on the 9mm configuration. On a Glock 17 with 147 grain subsonic ammo, they averaged 132 decibels. On a 5.56 Host 16-inch barrel with 55 grain ammo, it metered in at an average of 138 decibels. And then on a 16-inch 300 blackout bolt gun shooting 200 grain subsonics, it averaged 128 decibels. So again, when you have suppressors that are this versatile, you're not going to be able to squeeze out, 100% of the performance that you could if this was just a dedicated 9mm can. Okay, so that's why you're not seeing like crazy low 118 numbers or whatever, 120 numbers to 122 for 9mm, okay, because this can is being used across multiple platforms. So those of you out there that have been looking and messaging me weekly for months on end about what's the best one and done suppressor, I believe we found it. Let's go ahead and take it apart. All right, use their 3D printed tool here on the front cap. Take that off, and then we could use it as well on the rear direct thread adapter, 1/2x28. Set that aside. Now, if you're doing this post-shooting and the can's crudded up and you can't get the core out, that's what you would use this tool for. You would just insert it like so and then hit the suppressor on the end of the table, and it would free the carbon lock from the core to the inner tube wall of the titanium tube. So, but we don't really need that right now. All right, when you pull this out, just kind of be careful. And you know what, it might be easier to do it like so. Yes, it is. All right, now what you have here is a carrier system for all 3 caliber setups. Okay, so that's where you're gonna have your larger machined area here. This is how genius this is, guys. So you see the silver, black, and gold, and that's where you're gonna have your different calibers that we're gonna get to in just a second. But you would essentially pick the caliber that you wanna use and then slide it into the applicable single slot. So you're not gonna shoot it like this. Okay, so we're gonna remove it. So you would remove each baffle stack of 3 and then choose what you wanted to shoot. Let's start with the small and work our way up. We'll start with the copper color. This is going to be 17.4 heat treated to H900. That's where we're going to get that nice gold color from. And this is going to be your .224 and below caliber. So 17 HMR to 5.56, everything in between, 5.7x28. That's where you're going to use this gold one. That's your small. Moving up, we have black. So that's going to be your medium baffle. The black is a black nitride coating, and this is going to be your .358 and below. I don't know how many questions I get a week. Hey, can I shoot a 9mm through my 30 caliber can? No, you cannot. That is a lot of newbies out there. They kind of mess up sometimes. They find out the hard way that .30 is not .35. So this, however, is designed to be able to shoot, 300 blackout and of course 9mm through it at the same time. So pretty cool. Just remember, guys, when you're thinking calibers, you're thinking the inches across the cross section of, looking down at the top of the projectile, so you don't mess up down the road. Moving on, we have the large. This is a silver baffle, and it's going to be 17.4 heat-treated stainless steel, and it's annealed state, so that it's where you're going to get that nice bead blasted silver look. This is for everything .458 and below, so your .458 SOCOM and below, 45 ACP, 40 caliber, all that stuff. That's what you're going to use the silver one for. So now what you have here is the ability to use it on so many hosts. You're going to have a lot of fun playing around with this. So I'm going to show you the core here. I'm going to show you some close-ups here. You're going to see a cutout area that you use to store the baffles, and then you're going to see next to each one a single slot used to select the caliber you want to shoot that day. So let's set it up for 9mm. So we're going to select the medium, the black one. Now you're going to want to make sure that your cone, of course, is facing the blast area, so the muzzle of the can, which would be here, where you can see the blast chamber has more area in front of it to allow for piston movement and adaptability with different booster housings and stuff like that. So you want this to face up. So I would usually just set it down and just slide it in from the side, just like that. So go ahead and find another black one here. Slide it in, just kind of wiggle it. There you go, and it slides in. So the tolerances are just loose enough to be able to fit these in there. And you will hear a rattle when this is set up to shoot, but that rattle, I'm told, will go away after 1 mag of ammo. So they do that so you could take apart and adapt this thing with some buildup. So that buildup will actually cause the rattling to go away. So that's how it's set up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 baffles in the medium configuration, or as I call it, the 9mm configuration. And then you're just going to want to slide the tube on. Okay, you want the writing at the front, so we'll do this. Blast chambers here. Just kind of wiggle it in there. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Then you're going to put your front cap on, and your front cap is .458 inches, so you don't get it mixed up. You can use the same cap for all of the baffle types, and then now is where you were going to put your booster housing in. So this uses the industry standard of 1.375 by 24 pitch. So you can use dead air chemo, you can use Griffin armament, you can use silencer code, you can use their booster housings, not the piston. You have to use their piston and their housing, and you put that housing in here. So pretty cool. They do sell a silencer code housing by itself. I think it's like $115, something like that. I'm actually waiting on one. I didn't have a spare one laying around, and all my other ones are like freaking red Loctited in the can, so I can't take it apart. So Enfield actually overnighted me the piston housing, which I will put the part number in the description below for the silencer code unit. So that would actually thread in here, and then I could put this on my 9mm host, which we will do at the range. I'm just waiting on it to get here. So, and then of course on a rifle, you would use a fixed direct thread adapter. So let's go ahead and take it apart. And again, the rattling that you hear, that will go away once you shoot it a little bit and get some carbon buildup in there. And let's just, looks like, see, the cord does stop. There's a shelf in here next to the threads on the blast chamber side, so that cord doesn't fall through. See? So when you take it apart, just put it muzzle end down, okay, and then you can pull it off. And there you go. So then you can put in your next caliber and go on from there. Now this is also where you tinkerers at home can have some fun. Maybe you want to try switching the notches here and flipping them around different ways and putting it back together, shooting on your gun, see if it sounds better with certain weights and brands. Maybe you want to shoot 9mm, you're like, hey, let's take out the third baffle in 9mm, and then let's put on the, and then let's put a 45 in there, since it's wider, it won't baffle strike. And then, yeah, let's try that. Or let's turn it this way. Try the notch the other way, or let's leave it open. The sky's the limit. You guys can sit here and tinker to your heart's content and find out what sounds good on your host and your ammo type, shooting it dry or wet. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool can. Now when you're done and you want to store it in the case, and when you're done cleaning, which if you want to clean this in a ultrasonic cleaner, 17.4 is ultrasonic cleaner safe, so you can put everything in there, right? All this. except for the tube. Tube's grade 2 titanium, has a beautiful finish on it. Don't make the mistake of putting this in an ultrasonic cleaner. It will cause cavitation on titanium and it will destroy that nice, beautiful finish. So put your baffles in there, let it sit a couple cycles. I really wouldn't put the end cap and the adapters in. There's really no point. It will kind of ruin the finish on them. So I would just do the core, the skeleton here, and the baffles. Guys, don't get crazy with cleaning. Okay, it doesn't need to be squeaky clean like it just came out of the box like it did today. Some buildup is good. It does help with tone and it does help with that rattle. Just knock the big pieces off and you'll be good to go. Now, as far as putting it back together for storage, I found the easiest way to do it is to line up all your pieces in the reverse order. So all your copper, all your silver, or I'm sorry, all the black, and then all the silver, and put all the notches the same way, right? Okay. Let's see how fast I can do this here. So then all you have to do is stack them, right? Line them up. Boom, 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 boom. So you go gold, black, silver. So now they're all the correct way. No issues there. And now you slide in again, remember, cone facing the blast chamber. You put it in the wide slot. And I'll show some close-ups here, of course, like I always do, so you don't get it wrong. And just kind of jiggle it in there. I have found it's better to place this on a hard surface and do it with the core standing straight up than it is to kind of do it in your hand and try to finagle it. This just takes one less thing out of it. And then, yeah, just kind of line them up and shimmy it in there. I'm sure it'll get a little bit more difficult with some carbon. So you might definitely want to use that ultrasonic cleaner and just slide in better. Don't make the mistake of turning this right now in your hands because you're going to make a mess and a lot of noise, but that is quite neat. I can appreciate the engineering and machining that went into this because I know there was a lot of different prototypes before we came to this. Once you're all done and you spray it down with some rim oil after a nice cleaning, the writing is where the end cap is, so that's going to go down. Slide this puppy back on, shimmy it on. You're going to need to shimmy it to kind of get past each slidey boy. These little baffles are going to want to move left and right. And then once it's in there, again, remember that core won't fall out the bottom. Put your end cap back on with the tool. I don't know if I mentioned it already, but if you do break this tool, this 3D printed tool, they will mail you another one in the mail for free. And then we'll throw this on. And now you're ready for storage. How cool is that? I mean, that is a pretty badass product. Yeah, now that I understand it, it was quite intimidating. The first time I took it apart, I was like, whoa, what is going on here? And then I read the manual that they sent me an email, and I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, 3 different sizes, small, medium, large, different strengths, different calibers. Play as you go. Pretty cool can. So let's go ahead and pack this up and hit the range. I am still waiting for the booster assembly from Silencer Co. so I can shoot this on a pistol out on the range, but I want to shoot it on 5.56, 300 blackout, and 9mm at the very least. Maybe we'll try 45 as well. So let's go out to the range and see what it sounds like. Wow. Okay, that's that's way quieter than I thought it would be. A quick 10 rounds of the 165 grain Hush. Hopefully the gun runs. It looks like the guide rod is hitting the back of the piston housing, so not the best setup there. It needs to be a little bit longer. Wow. Yeah. Wow. All right, well, good thing I brought other hosts. All right, this is with all of the 300 blackout scenes and 9mm scenes. So we're going to switch out the baffles to the .224 so we can shoot the AR-15. So it was kind of hard to pull on it on the front here, so I'm just going to use our little tool and see how that works. Okay, well, that was easy. And I'm out here filming by myself, so I only have one hand, but trying to do this one-handed and film at the same time, and looks like the baffles just fall out on their own almost. Look at that. You can kind of see the carbon buildup so far from all the 9mm and 300 blackout shooting. Not bad considering though, actually. Thought it'd be way worse. Not bad at all. Let's go ahead and switch out the baffles to the copper. All right, look at that. How freaking cool is that? They just slid right in, look. I mean, there was no buildup here because you can see where it's actually cleaner where the baffle was resting, so you didn't get any carbon buildup in the slots there. And I think I found out what these other cutouts were in the case. I think they're to hold your stacks of baffles when you're not using them. So, because it was just the suppressor with all the baffles in it, the takedown tools, and then 3 random holes. So, pretty sure that's what those are for. All right, let's go ahead and put it together and get shooting. Nice. Damn, this thing's impressive. All right, so we just got done with the 5.56 and the 22 scenes. You know, I have to do the scenes in certain orders so I don't have to keep switching out the adapters. The can was pretty damn hot. Let it cool down for about 2-3 minutes, and then I shook it, and the baffles came out without needing to use the pusher. But I wanted to show you guys that it pretty much carboned up and leaded up the copper color on the baffle. So the color coding system, you have to be careful. Look at the aperture size when you're doing these. You know, this can easily be mistaken if it's black on black. You know what I mean? Just be careful. I'm going to suggest to them that they maybe engrave somewhere. I can't use a laser because it's just going to get cruded up as well, but maybe on the non-impact side, so on this side, maybe engrave, you know, .224 in there or whatnot. Anyway, let's go ahead and load up the .458 and give it a try on the 1911. Not bad. Did get some blowback to the face though. Unburnt gunpowder. Wow. Okay, we're about done for the day, but I just want to show you guys the mess I have created out here. Let me take off my earmuffs. I'm probably yelling. Complete mess. Just tinkering all day. This is what we all do. I mean, look at all these accessories I have. Just been dicking around. So we just got done shooting the 45, and I'm going to do something. I brought a gun I never really shoot much anymore, the HK USP9 ST. It always has my Osprey 9 on it in the safe. I just never use it. So let's toy around with this. I'm doing this with one-handed, so bear with me. I'm going to load up the stack with alternating 9mm and 45 baffles, and let's see what that does. So I decided to do 45 9 45 999. Okay, so you can see the two silver ones and then the black ones, and I did the vents this way, the cuts this way, and then I switched them to the other remaining 4 9 are the other way. Why? Because when you on the suppressor, you can do whatever the hell you want. Fun gun. Oh my God. What the hell? Dude. They did it. Those crazy sons of bitches did it. I feel like Malcolm on Jurassic Park right now. You know, I came out here today really expecting a suppressor that was going to sacrifice suppression for all the utility that you get. I mean, because let's just face it, the baffle design's not like crazy, right? It looks pretty standard, but damn, it works. It works very well. I'm really speechless. 5.56 sounded great. I screwed up today. I brought a piston gun. I should have brought a gas gun so I can judge any back pressure or gas to the face, so that's my bad. But it sounded good. I didn't need my ears at all. 300 blackout, had first round pop, and then subsequent shots it went away. Sounded really good. Let's see, 9mm. We had some issues on the Glock 19X. That's not a good suppressor host. I don't know if it's just mine or the recoil system, but every time I've used that out here for any 9mm can, it gives me issues, no matter the ammo type. So the gigantic end to the guide rod was also hitting the back of the piston housing here. So later in the day, I switched to the Silencer Co. 1/28 XL, the longer piston, and I think it still gave me problems. So yeah, it's the gun. 1911, I had a little bit of blowback to the face. I thought at first it was maybe the grooves. Okay, so those of you out there that know about the grooves for the cams on the Silencer Co. Osprey, those are the pistons that I was using. Those sometimes, you know, you'll get gas leakage by the grooves in the O-ring, and you can feel gas to the face, but it was enough
to where it had to be coming out of the ejection port back down the bore, but it wasn't so much that it was like uncomfortable. It wasn't an Octane 9, I'll put it that way. Octane 9 hurts a lot. You need eye protection with that can. God, what else? I mean, then later in the day, we tried the HK USP 9SD right here. I still have the baffles in here. We did 45, 9, 45, 9, 9, 9, 9. And I tell you, it sounded awesome. I didn't get to do all my downrange scenes that I usually do today just because I'm out here by myself. I didn't have anybody to help. And so I was doing a lot of tinkering on the back of the truck. It's a mess right now. It's gonna take me like half an hour to pack that thing up. But just tinkering, that was just one try, the 45, 9, 45 thing. That was one try and it sounded amazing. I don't know, you know, handguns out there all have different lock times. So between 1911, you know, Glock 19, your 226s, your HKs, they all sound a little different depending on the ammo and the suppressor you're using. So what this can's gonna give us the ability to do is really, for those of you out there that really dork out over this like me, you're gonna be able to, you know, sit in your backyard or at your range one day, bring a notepad, and you're gonna be able to tune this can specific to your host and ammo to squeeze out as much performance as you can. That's pretty damn cool. I really didn't think it was gonna sound that good, honestly. It does, it sounds amazing. The tone's very low. It's not high pitchy, you know, like the Osprey 9, that high twangy pitch. Probably because it's an 1.5 inch wide can. Definitely needs suppressor sights there. Let me, yeah, those just barely clear it on the 9SD, but I know I'm rambling, guys. I just wanted to give a shout out to ERC today. They are now a sponsor of NFA Review channel on Patreon. So what does that mean? If you're a gold member on my Patreon page, they are now doing 20% off. So this can retails at $1,049, I believe, off the top of my head. So you'll get 20% off that. You can order factory direct and they will ship to the FFL SOT of your choice. So that's pretty cool. They're joining other companies like Holtec, CGS Group, 2A Warehouse, 1776 United. I'll throw it up on the screen. A lot of discounts under the gold members. This performed better than I thought it was. This can's not going anywhere. I'm going to stamp this can and it will be in my permanent collection. It's that good. So if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time here, you know I generally don't give heavy opinions on the product. I usually just let it speak for itself, give you some feedback at the end, and call it a day. But this thing seriously impressed me, so I wanted to just drive that point home today. Yeah, I got nothing else. If you enjoyed the video today, please click that like button. It does help the channel. If it's your first time on the NFA Review channel, please click that subscribe button. We have a lot more reviews coming, and hopefully this year, once this virus is all over, we will have another shooting event for you guys, another Suppress Fest 2020. As of right now, we haven't started planning yet because we really don't know what the regulations and rules are going to be concerning an event with a large gathering of people. So stay tuned for that. Follow along on Facebook and Instagram, and of course, join Patreon if you want good deals. See you next time.